Greetings world. We are anonymous.
Greetings dear brothers and sisters of humanity. We are anonymous. Mankind has lived on this earth over 50,000 years and perhaps much longer. During all this long evolution, man has not found peace on earth. Peace on earth has been preached long before Christianity, long before Islam, even before the ancient Hindus and the Buddhists. And during all this time, man has lived in conflict. Not only conflict with his neighbor, but with people of his own community, of his own society. Even within his very own family, mankind has fought. So-called civilized man has struggled man against man for the last 5,000 years and perhaps much more. Historically, there have been wars practically every single year since the known history of humanity began. Today we are still at war. The political and religious hierarchies and governments still preach endlessly about peace on earth and goodwill among men. It has never, ever come about. Your governments have talked endlessly about peace while they send you to die. Your governments are both murderous and suicidal. Your religions preach that when you die you go to heaven and that you will finally have your peace there. You have been given so much. This is your heaven. Look at what you have done. Behold your creation. It is hell. Therefore you will never, ever have peace on earth or in heaven until you change. You must wonder, if you are at all serious, why man kills another human being in the name of God, in the name of peace, in the name of some ideology, for country, for king and for queen. You know all this. Man has never lived in peace on this earth which you are now slowly destroying. Why is it that man cannot live at peace? Why are there separate nations? Nations are merely glorified tribalism, and the religions, whether it be Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, or Buddhism, they are also at war with each other. Nations are at war, groups are at war, religions are at war, ideologies, whether it is the Chinese, the Russian, the North Korean or the American, they are all at war with each other as well. After living on this earth for so many centuries, why is it man cannot live peacefully on this wondrous and beautiful planet? This question has been asked over and over again throughout all of time. So mankind forms endless amounts of organizations. What is the future of your so-called organizations? What is the future of your institutions? What is the future of your governments? What is the future of your religions? What lies beyond that? Time is a strange factor in life. Time is very important for all of us. Time can be your greatest enemy or your most trusted friend. The future is the present. The future is what is now. This is because the present is also the past modifying itself and becoming the future. This is the cycle of time and the path of time. If there is no fundamental mutation in the human mind, the future is what is now. You see this in your daily lives. So the question really is whether human beings who are still in perpetual conflict can ever find peace on earth. They cannot. There will be no peace on this earth until all of humanity changes its mind. Until then, your so-called leaders will only talk about it endlessly. Your governments talk about peace, but they are responsible for appalling wars, thousands of years of war, torture and all kinds of horrible abuse to man. These are all facts. Accept them. And all religions, including Islam, Christians, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, they all have their own kinds of wars, unless you yourself change. The future of your governments, your religions and your planet is destruction. How many both realize this and care? If you do not stop the quarrels, struggles, antagonism and hate now, it will be like that tomorrow. You can stretch out that tomorrow for 1,000 years. The next tomorrow will still be the same for 10,000 more. Can you as human beings live peacefully with each other and prove yourselves worthy of survival? Organizations have not solved this problem. You can organize and reorganize. You can appoint blue ribbon commissions and so-called independent tribunals. War still goes on. It always has. So organizations, whether it is world organizations or a particular kind of organization to bring about peace. Such organizations will never, ever succeed. This is because human beings individually, collectively and nationally are in conflict. Strong nations, like America or Russia, are at war with each other, economically, ideologically, and by proxy. So peace cannot possibly exist on this earth if there are nationalities, which is glorified tribalism. Nationalities give certain security. Man needs security and he invests in nationalism, or in a particular ideology or belief. Beliefs and ideologies have separated man. You endlessly analyze your dilemma and yet you never, ever succeed. You cannot analyze compassion. You cannot analyze love. Love is not within the limits of the brain. This is because the brain is the instrument of sensation. It is the center of all reaction and action. You try to find peace and love within this limited area. Thought is not love because thought is based on experience. Experience is always limited, whether now or in the future. This is why knowledge is always limited. Knowledge is contained in the brain as memory. From that memory springs thought. This can be observed very simply and easily if you examine yourself. Look at your own activities of thought, experience and knowledge. You do not have to read any book and you do not need to become specialist to understand your very own way of thinking and living. Thought is always limited and yet you still try to solve all of your never-ending and unlimited problems through the activity of thought. Thought is not love. Love is not sensation or pleasure. Love is not the result of desire. Love is something entirely different. To come upon that love, which is compassion, with its own intelligence, you must understand yourselves and the entities that you yourselves embody. You must not analyze but instead understand humanity's own sorrows, its own pleasures, and you must take full and complete ownership for the torture and murder that your beliefs have caused. Your beliefs continue to act as a boot on the throat of humanity. You already know all of this. You know that wherever you go, all over the world, mankind suffers. It might be petty or some very deep incident that has caused pain and sorrow to humanity. Every human being on this earth goes through this. Nobody is immune to suffering. This sorrow is shared by all of mankind. It is not just your sorrow. It is mankind's sorrow. You are the rest of humanity. You are not separate human beings psychologically. You may be a woman or you may be a man. You may be Russian, American, Chinese or Korean. But inwardly, psychologically, which is far more important, you are the rest of mankind. There are no others. Your enemies are you yourselves. You are the living history of mankind. If you kill another or if you are in conflict with another, you are destroying yourself. You can observe this very carefully if you look at yourself without any distortion. So there can only be peace when you have no conflict within yourself. If you achieve or come to an end of all conflict within your own self, how will it affect the rest of mankind? This is a very old question. This question has been put forth thousands of years before religion and governments. And yet you still find yourselves asking whether sorrow, pain, suffering and anxiety can ever end. If you apply, look and observe with great attention, you can observe yourself, all the nuances, all the subtleties. Your relationships between human beings is a mirror. In that mirror you can see yourself exactly as you are, but most of you are frightened to see what you are, and so you gradually develop resistance, guilt, and anger. You have never even bothered to ask for total and complete freedom. It has never occurred to you. You have never even seriously tried to imagine it. How terrible. Where there are multiple choices, there are multiple confusions. Your choice is now singular in essence. This pattern must be broken now, not 40 or 100 years from now. Now, it must be broken by you yourself. There is no other. You are the living history of mankind. Show yourselves worthy. Nature loves courage. Make the commitment to save humanity and nature will respond to that commitment by removing impossible obstacles. All of you are members of the family of light. The family of light is one, but your misunderstanding causes you to go astray and you act without aim. Actions without aim are delusions like a dream. Anonymous is here to train you through all of its manifestations. Anonymous will teach the truth that each is ready to hear. Now, hereafter, whenever Anonymous speaks with his awareness radiant and free, all who hear it may benefit. During a solar or lunar eclipse, during an earthquake or when the earth rumbles from war, at the solstices or the new year, you should always remember your brotherhood of Anonymous. For we have never forgotten you. We are always here with you. And if humanity may spread this message so that all can hear, then all of humanity may be gradually liberated from suffering and will ultimately achieve freedom from oppression. We are Anonymous. We are order and chaos. What we protect, we also destroy. We are the snake with no head, whose bite slays kings. We are logic. We are animals, openly just and immeasurable in cruelty. We are without count. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Find the others. Do it now.
We are Anonymous.